Congressman Benny Thompson of Mississippi. He's the ranking member of the House Homeland Security Committee. And also with us is Democratic Congresswoman Judy Chu. She represents parts of Los Angeles County. I would like to know if either of you would like to take a stab at responding to the comments made by the Vice President. Congressman Thompson.
Well, thank you so much for having me. As you know, members of Congress have exclusive oversight on ICE facilities. The law is very clear. Members have been trying to do that, and that's being prevented in certain areas. We also want to look at the holding facilities that are turning into jails. When you pick someone up, you process them, and you take them to the facilities. We now have reports that processing facilities are now being used as holding facilities. So members, based on what the law allows them, are going to look at those facilities. We're doing it all over the country. And obviously, the secretary thinks she's above the law by trying to implement policies that are clearly against the law.
Representative Chu, you have lived this very experience of attempting to do your job and being turned away. Let's take a look at the moment you were denied access to a detention center in Los Angeles this week.
Ma'am, this is not a detention facility. This is only temporary, a holding area. So any detention facility inspections you need to do will be conducted at Adelanto.
We were at Adelanto, and actually I've read the law, and the law says that any facility that is conducted by the Department of Homeland Security for the purpose of detaining aliens are subject to inspection by members of Congress.
Okay, ma'am, let me get you an ICE supervisor, okay?
Congresswoman, did you in fact get on the line with that ICE supervisor? If you did, what were you told and what questions remain for you?
No, they never brought that ICE supervisor to me. They just ignored me. However, I repeatedly pushed that button and continued to try to make my way in. By the way, she said it's just a temporary facility, but guess what the name of that center is called? It's called the Metropolitan Detention Center. When did it change into a field office or temporary facility? As far as I'm concerned, it never changed, and we certainly had the legal right to do oversight in that facility where so many detainees were staying overnight and who needed to have this oversight to see whether they were getting legal advice, whether they were getting their food and medicines. We needed to ensure that the conditions were okay for them.
Congressman Thompson, help me understand something. We are witnessing over and over again members of Congress be subject to humiliation and disrespect and aggravated assault, if you really want to take it down that street. What is the recourse available to a member of Congress or members of Congress to haul into their space the person behind that box, the superintendent who doesn't show up and as Congressman Chu just mentioned, does not take the time to meet with them? What recourse do you have to make sure that those individuals behind those doors are held accountable to you as the member of Congress who was on that site and asked for the oversight opportunity that's required and allowed by law? What recourse do you have? Because all we're seeing now is the turn away and nothing. I don't hear the level of screaming, because if I were in Congress right now, oh hell yes, there would be a lot of noise at these detention centers. But I don't understand why it seems like it happens and then it's quiet.
Well, I think part of what's happening is many members, as you know, we are out on break this week, and some members went to their respective districts where they have facilities to go and see. We come back on Monday. I think you'll see a ramped up effort. One of the things we're looking at, to be honest with you, is whether or not we can go to court and force the department to follow the law. The secretary is putting those employees in those facilities in an untenable position because they are now having to break the law based on what their supervisor, or in this instance, the secretary, is saying. It's not a good position. Democrats believe in the rule of law. If there is an opportunity for members to go to court and hold this administration, for which we've done in a number of occasions, accountable for what they're doing, we will do it. We're talking to the lawyers right now. The law is clear, but when the House, the Senate, and the White House is controlled by Republicans, it's a difficult task. So we will follow the law. A number of members have called and said, I'm prepared to do whatever. And so I think you'll see some direct action on part of Democrats in the House next week.
We do have some breaking news. LA Mayor Karen Bass is going to respond next hour via a press conference to the comments made by Vice President J.D. Vance, some that we showed moments ago. So we will monitor that, and we will bring it to you here on MSNBC. I want to follow up on something you just said, Congressman Thompson, because I don't want people to miss it, is that you all are currently exploring your legal options as members of Congress to potentially bring a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security, Secretary Noem, or some version of that. Is that correct?
Oh, there's no question about it. The point is, in our mind, the law is clear. We have oversight responsibility for immigration and customs enforcement. When members are prevented from doing that, and the secretary is the main culprit, and the president is complicit by allowing her to do that, then for the most part, the only recourse we have is to go to court. So we're looking at it. Most individuals that we've talked to today agree with us that you have oversight responsibility as members of Congress. You're just doing your job, and they are preventing you from doing your job. Now, if obviously we had some bipartisan members who wanted to join us, it might be different. But at this point, it's Democrats doing what we should be doing in this space. So I think you have to stay tuned. It will be interesting next week. There's a good possibility that members might be going to some other facilities to test just how strong this administration is on this point. But let me be clear. The detention facilities are one thing, and the processing facilities are another. The processing facilities are designed for processing. They're not designed to hold people overnight or for several days. Members want to get in and see exactly what's going on. The law is clear. So they are preventing members of Congress from doing their constitutional job in this respect.
Representative Chu, I'm still just so struck by what we heard from the vice president a little bit earlier and how it shows a fundamental misunderstanding of this issue. To act as though rounding up immigrants, nonviolent, non-criminal immigrants in this country and deporting them is somehow the way to begin to get at the cartels is to not understand how or why the cartels function. If you want to get at the cartels, you create legal pathways to get into this country so that the cartels no longer have a role in our immigration system. They have got it so backwards. And this is not the first time they have got it very wrong, Representative Chu. I want you to take a look at this post from the vice president on X. This was posted on June 7th. This is him describing what's happening in LA. Insurrectionists carrying foreign flags are attacking immigration enforcement officers, while one half of America's political leadership has decided border enforcement is evil. So much there. I don't know if he knows that Los Angeles is about 130 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border. That's one thing. I don't know if he understands that people protesting on the streets does not make them insurrectionists. Can this administration solve any of the problems that are currently before America so long as they are misrepresenting and misdiagnosing the source?
Well, the fact that J.D. Vance couldn't even get Senator Alex Padilla's name correct shows that he is just repeating MAGA slogans without even thinking. For one thing, Trump was promising to deport criminals and rapists, but what we've seen from the raids in Los Angeles is that they are picking up everyday workers. They are going into car washes, Home Depot lots. They are picking up anybody that to them looks like an undocumented person and just sweeping them up without warrants and without saying what their names are. And I know that they are not criminals. They are not the rapists because I was able to actually get into Adelanto and was able to talk to people who were swept up in these LA raids. They were workers in a business, and these unidentified persons came in and demanded that they sign these documents. And then they were taken to the Metropolitan Detention Center, were denied food for 12 hours, and then could not contact their family members or legal representatives. And then were sent to Adelanto, handcuffed, and after spending hours in a van. So these are not the right way to treat these people. And let me say something else, which is about the protests. The area where the protests occurred were in 1 square mile, and I want to tell you that LA County is 500 square miles.